Welcome into the Browns Report, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donoghue. Super excited to talk Browns football on today's show. We're going to answer all your questions here, all right? A lot of rumors going on. Cleveland Browns is off season. So what direction are they headed? Where are we trending? Let's talk about it all on today's show. The first question we have is a $5 super chat from AFX. Appreciate the donation, my friend. You are awesome. He says, draft Spencer Fano at 6. Games are won at the line of scrimmage. Todd Monken or the Seahawks defensive coordinator, I guess, is who he wants at head coach. All right, AFX. Interesting. Let's break this down a little bit. So I would honestly prefer, I absolutely agree, tackle at 6. You need a lineman. I prefer the Miami tackle, Francis Mauigoa, top 6. I'm hearing he's top of Mel Kiper's big board. I'm hearing he's the best lineman in the draft. I would get him. Fano, I think, goes a little bit lower. You're trading back if you're getting Fano. But yes, games are won in the trenches. They're won at the line of scrimmage. Offensive line is the biggest priority for Cleveland. I'm going to hamper that until they fix it. Monken, I don't hate. All right, not bad candidates here, Monken and Seahawks D, but I'd rather a younger offensive-minded candidate for the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to AFX for the first question of the show. Next up, we got one from Prime Fan. Will Shedeur be the starter next year? Hashtag Browns. Oh, okay. Great question here from Prime Fan. Sources tell me all signs point to yes. I think Shedeur Sanders is the day one starter for the Cleveland Browns in 2026. And that might be great news for the Shedeur Sanders fans out there, for some Browns fans out there. The way that this market is trending, it seems like Cleveland's going to stick with him. You know, the free agent market's not good at all, to be quite frank with you guys, okay? Your best options are these 5. Aaron Rodgers, who might not even be an option. Or he might retire. Malik Willis is the best name of the free agent quarterbacks, and he was a backup quarterback this year. I'm not kidding you. This is the worst time to not have your quarterback figured out and to be looking for a quarterback. Mariota, Russ, washed backups. Trey Lance, maybe take a shot at him because he's a younger guy, but he's also a failed experiment in the league, just like Kenny Pickett was, who's also a free agent. By the way, Joe Flacco's still a free agent. Like, what do you want him to do? Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, they're free agents. Nobody's excited by that. These are the free agent quarterbacks that are available right now. And you want to talk draft quarterbacks? Well, guess what? Breaking news. Dante Moore's not going to the draft. He has confirmed live on SportsCenter. I used to work over there at ESPN, by the way. Moore is returning to Oregon. So there you go. Mendoza, all of a sudden, it's him, nobody else. You're going to draft a quarterback. Maybe you're reaching on Ty Simpson. Maybe Trinidad Chambliss is going to the draft, and the Browns want to draft him. Every sign is starting to point that Shedeur Sanders is going to get another opportunity with a new head coach, with hopefully a better offensive line, with hopefully another wide receiver to throw to. And I think it would look a little bit better. But that's your quarterback room, you know, and maybe that's not exciting for Browns fans to see those 3 up there because you've went into the last few years with question marks at quarterback. No one starts consistently. But Shedeur, who we at least saw flashes from this year, to be fair, we've seen the better play from Shedeur than all the other quarterbacks recently, especially in that depth chart that I just showed you. So think about it. We could pray that it looks better. I think it will look better. And if it doesn't, well, I guess you go back to Watson, who's making all that money. And then the next draft, you draft Dante Moore, who's actually going to go to the draft next year. Arch Manning, who's going to be in the draft. Like, the class is so much better next year. There's no one besides Mendoza this year. And now, with Moore not going to the draft, it's going to be impossible to trade up for the number 1 overall pick. You have to give up everything. It's so much more valuable. So, yeah, I think Shedeur's the starter next year, folks. I'm ready for it. I'm hyped up for it. What do you think? Call it. Will Shedeur Sanders start for the Browns next season? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I don't think they're moving on from him. So I'm going to type Y. You tell me what you think is going to happen, though, in the comment section. Next up, we got Stuhler Hater Smith. Hashtag Browns. Why hasn't Bubba been fired? Phenomenal question. What are we waiting for? Special teams unit was awful this season. Major issue. Return touchdowns being given up. Big returns being given up. Losing us football games because of bad special teams. Bubba's got to be out of there. Hopefully, our new head coach brings a special teams coordinator because, Bubba, you have zero excuse to be in the building right now. Next, let's go to K. Hunter. Dream offensive coordinator for the hashtag Browns. I like this a lot. Plenty of offensive-minded coaches in this cycle. It's not the best pool, but there's some good names out there. If I could pick my dream one, okay, and I'll try to be somewhat realistic, I'm not going to say Sean McVay, right? No, it's impossible. I think Kubiak takes a head coach job too. I think Kingsbury takes a head coach job too. Dream, though, well, actually Kingsbury could be a possibility. Dream, honestly, give me Mike McDaniel. Genius play designer. Not the best head coach, as we saw in Miami. Genius play designer, though. One of the best offensive minds out there. He worked with Kyle Shanahan. He followed Shanahan everywhere. When Kyle Shanahan was in Cleveland and he left, he took Mike McDaniel with him. They went to Atlanta. They went to San Francisco together. That's why he's such a genius offensive mind. If he could be our OC and then Jim Schwartz is our DC and we get a great head coach like a Harbaugh, oh my gosh, we're making the playoffs, Browns fans. Get the staff right. Get the coaching staff right. That's my dream OC, to be quite frankly honest with you guys. All right, we got more rumors to get to, more Browns fans questions to answer as well. So don't go anywhere. Stick around because we're also going to tell you about this awesome deal we have going on at Chat Sports. Look at this. Myles Garrett record-breaking T-shirt for only $34.99. If you go to chatsports.com/mgrecord. Folks, this is a moment in NFL history. This is a moment that we got to enjoy as Browns fans this season, in a season filled with ups and downs. Maybe more downs than ups. This was one of the biggest ups. And look at Myles. He was relieved. He was celebrating. Did it on Joe Burrow. We got a cool shirt to commemorate that moment at Chat Sports, and it's a deal for you guys for only $34.99 if you go to chatsports.com/mgrecord. It's chatsports.com/mgrecord. I'll put that in the comment section. Don't miss out. Joshua Miller. Who are a couple possible affordable free agents in areas of need we could target? It's a great question by Joshua Miller because, yeah, we have areas of needs, folks. I will tell you that. Offensive line especially. Rasheed Walker, the Packers offensive tackle, is a younger option that could be relatively affordable. He'll be sought after, though, because there's a weaker market. But look after him. Look at Braden Smith, the Colts offensive tackle, another one that's going to be, affordable, subjective word. The Browns have actually freed up some cap despite the purgatory they're in with Watson. So look at those two names of tackles. Okay, there's some good free agent options. Wide receivers, Alec Pierce is one that a lot of people are looking at. Look at him. A tall, young wide receiver. Cleveland needs it. There's some good names for you, Joshua Miller. I'll make a full video on this just for you and all the Browns fans because we need to know how we can turn this thing around, folks. Get some good signings in here. Next up, we got Andrew B. Andrew B. What? Is this Andrew Berry? Why do you think Browns didn't interview anyone in the last 2 days? It's a good question. I should be asking you that, Andrew Berry. But perhaps Cleveland, really likes someone that they're interviewing. Maybe it is Grant Udinski. Maybe it is Mike McDaniel, the two favorites at the time that we filmed this, right? So consider that as a possibility, and they want to progress with those guys before they go out and get more candidates. Or Cleveland has been waiting to see where John Harbaugh falls because he's your number one. They're waiting to see what happens in Green Bay. And now I'm filming this on a Wednesday evening, so perhaps some of those things have fallen into place at the time you see this, okay? But at the moment, as things stand, I think they're playing a little bit of a waiting game. They're trying to see if they can get a John Harbaugh interview. And why wouldn't you? Good question, though, from Andrew B., because I would be wondering the same thing as a Browns fan. He says in the chat he's not Andrew Berry. I didn't think so, but just making a joke there. Shedeur Sanders Glazer has a question for me. What's the chance of us getting Udinski? That's a good question. Honestly, Shedeur Glazer, I think that in terms of my prediction for the next Browns head coach, if you look at it like a chart, it's rising for me and Grant Udinski and the odds that the Cleveland Browns will sign him. Now, maybe they're just getting him in the room, but he's already an offensive coordinator. He's not being interviewed for an OC job. This is a head coach interview. So perhaps this is a scenario where he's rising up in the betting odds, and it's not just smoke and mirrors. He's a Cleveland favorite. He's viewed as a very smart candidate. I mean, if you got time, JD, throw up one of those quotes. The Kevin O'Connell one, perhaps, I really like, because so many sources or so many executives and coaches around the league have speaked very highly of Grant Udinski and his mind and his ability, right? I mean, here's Kevin O'Connell when he interviewed Grant Udinski. He said, interviewing Grant was like interviewing a guy who could build a car from scratch for a job at a car wash. Guys, sounds like what we need, doesn't it? Smart offensive mind who studies hard. Okay, he's dedicated, he's passionate. Liam Cohen said he's a football guy and he's all ball. If Cleveland loves their interview, that graph's going up. I'm going to put it slightly above half, Shedeur Sanders Glazer. 55% chance. And watch that number keep rising. I'll have it updated if he gets more interviews. Stay tuned, folks. But there's more candidates to come. There's more to shake out. They do like Mike McDaniel because of their ties with him, and you're not going to get McDaniel as an OC, unfortunately, in Cleveland. That would have to be a head coach offer. So stay tuned. I'll have you covered with who the Browns end up hiring. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on who they do. I got you covered. I'm your host, Joey O'Donoghue. Thank you guys so much for being a part of today's show. Subscribe to be a part of videos like this and get your questions heard. Be on YouTube with me. Appreciate you all so much. I'll see you next time.